everyone, it's Jen from You So Much, and today is Fantasy Friday. And today's quote is, dance with your fantasy. And that quote is by me. Absolutely. So I kind of want to do something a little different today because I want to just talk a little bit about fantasy and my fantasies. And one of the things I absolutely love to do is dance, but I think it's important to dance with your fantasy. And what I mean by that is to explore what your fantasies are, play with them, practice with them, write them down, just like you would if you were dancing, right? You would not just sit still and never think about them, right? When you are dancing, you are interacting, you are actively involved. And so whatever that means for you, I highly suggest that you dance with your fantasy. And so one of the things I really wanted to do was to celebrate all of you and thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm super excited that I have over 100 subscribers, and that's a huge thing to celebrate. I'm so grateful to all of you, each and every single one of you that have subscribed. And I know a lot of you, I know you personally, and some of you I don't, and I appreciate both so much. I have never really gone out and solicited people and asked them to subscribe to my channel because I always wanted people to subscribe if they felt inclined to do so. And so if there's anything you would love to see on my channel, I would love to hear from you below. Please let me know in the comments. So in honor of dancing with my fantasy, one of the things that I thought would be kind of fun to do is to tell you what some of my fantasies are. I'm always encouraging all of you to do that, and I haven't really done that very much. I have a little bit here and there, but not a lot. So I thought I would expand on that and tell you even more of my own personal fantasies. So as all of you know, one of my biggest fantasies is to write a book, and I am in process of doing that right now. But not just any book. I want to write a bestseller. It is my fantasy that it will not only be a bestseller, but it will be such a huge hit that it will turn into a movie. And along with that, I have this crazy fantasy that one of my favorite artists, Justin Timberlake, will be in that movie, or at least do a song for that movie. And so I know it's kind of crazy, but I wrote it down and wanted to let you know that that is one of my fantasies. Another fantasy of mine is to do a TED Talk on fantasy. I would love to not only do a local TED Talk, but have that be so awesome that it gets featured as a national TED Talk, and that is another fantasy of mine. And another fantasy of mine is to have a creative collective environment. So what I mean by that is here in Portland, and maybe it would expand to other cities, to have a place where creatives can go and be creative. So it would include a dance studio to continue dancing with my fantasy. It would include maybe studios to do YouTube filming so that I'm not filming in my basement. It would include places for people to paint and draw, and even just places to sit and work and write and have creative collaborations with other creatives. So this is a huge fantasy of mine. It's something that I'm seriously working on and would love to have that fantasy come true. And to continue along the theme of dancing, one of my big fantasies is to be in a dance video. And I don't mean just any video. What I'm talking about is a lot of dance studios will sometimes feature dancers in their videos, and I've been in a few of those through the studios that I've danced with and the groups that I dance with. But what I'm talking about is sometimes you might see a feature video where you see a couple partnering to a song, and it's just really done super artistically, and I would love that. It's probably a silly fantasy that I could probably make come true, you know, if I really wanted to tomorrow, but I have to admit I'm like super scared of it because I've never done any partner dancing ever, and I think it would be super fun. I've always danced as a part of a group or in a dance class. I've never done a partner dance, and so I honestly am a little fearful of asking anyone to help, and so I need to get over that and make that fantasy come true. And then finally, my last fantasy that I want to share with you is something I've had as a fantasy for a super long time, and I have very rarely shared it with people because it's kind of a vulnerable fantasy of mine. So I'm just going to go for it because I'm always telling you guys to write down your own fantasies. So here I go. I'm going to tell you guys about it today. And that fantasy is when I was in the 3rd grade, my parents asked me and my sister what we wanted to do when we grew up. And I said that I wanted to be a Playboy model. Now, my parents, I can't imagine what they thought about that when I was in the 3rd grade saying this, especially because my dad didn't get Playboy at his house, so he was probably like, what the heck is this? Where is this coming from? But that's one of those fantasies that I've never really let go of. I've always still kind of had that. Now, it doesn't have to be Playboy. You know, I know Playboy, the brand, has changed over the years, but it just sounds so fun. And I always wanted to have that experience of feeling beautiful and sexy and having that be something that's a part of my repertoire. And especially now that I am a writer, I would love to be in a Playboy magazine featured as both a writer and a model. And that is still a fantasy of mine. I'm super excited about it. And I can't believe I just shared that with all of you today, but there you go. So those are my fantasies that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. And as always, I really encourage you to write down your own fantasies, continue to dance with them, because words make it real.